Hello, gentle viewers. This is Av Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Oakland A's. In our previous episode, we completed an off season in which we have once again devoted significant resources to player development and scouting. We also have quite a bit of money in our coffers. This might not be a terrible season to try to make some, maybe not permanent additions, but maybe extend some players that we deem might be worthy. So what have we actually changed about the team so far? Well, the first and most important thing, perhaps, is a full season of Mike Neely. Mike Neely is exactly the kind of player that this team needs in order to be its very best. He gets on base. He's got enough pop that he's not just going to be a singles guy. He's going to be a huge asset to this team. Good old pal Max Clark, Peyton Green, Tommy White. Our core is still there. One of our newer players is Alec Burleson. This isn't intentional. This is purely because of Confidants. Because Confidants is starting the season off on the IL. Alejandro Campos has returned. This is another member of our youth movement, somebody who's really good at putting the ball into play and hopefully will help the rest of our team play well. New shortstop Armando Cruz, who we acquired from Washington. New second baseman Mikey Romero, who we acquired from Texas. And Alex Watson behind the plate once again. Has he learned anything from his extended stay in AAA last season? I'm not quite sure. The real question is, what about Max Muncy for one thing? And right now, he isn't starting. He is against left-handed pitching, but we're not using him every day. And maybe that's to his benefit. I'm not sure yet. Max Muncy is what he is at this point. The most important reason I can't get rid of him yet is because of his effect on team chemistry. Having guys like Adam Hackenberg and Griff McGarry definitely helped too. But we need a captain, and right now the only player that is a captain is Max Muncy. Pitching staff. We are led by Paul Skeens. Shane McClanahan's final season with the A's. This is going to be a huge deal, not having to pay him anymore. Joe Musgrove is in for probably just the year. If I can get 30 starts with about 150 innings, I'm okay with that. Andrew Painter, who we acquired from the Phillies, is another pitcher that we're hoping for big things from. Ishmael Mota, up until the previous season, was a reliever, and now he's a starter. And we're going to have to see how that works out for us. Our bullpen, our new closer, is Ryan Cusick, after he traded the last guy, whose name I've already forgotten. We're going to see how he can do. We do have a few talented players that are perhaps ready for bigger roles. Guys like Braden Egan, Dan Tebow, and some other folks. We have Ishmael Ibarra, who is 16 years old and is already in AA. A couple people said we should take control and change that. I'm going to let... The AI crew thinks so highly of him that we're going to want to at least give him the chance. The other player who has a really good chance to be a big part of this club in the very near future is going to be Jacob Kendall. Kendall actually got some reps in spring training this season, but I want to see him play at AA before we give him a major league, before we bring him up to the majors. So, yeah. I do think we're still fairly thin offensively. I think we're better, but I do think we still have some issues. We don't have loads of power, which, I mean, I guess it's not mandatory, but it certainly would make our lives easier if we did. But we do have some better contact guys. We definitely have team players that I think have a reasonable chance of hitting for average, and that's going to be very helpful. And then we'll get Confidant back, and we'll have to make a decision about his future with the club quite soon. All that being said, let's play some baseball, shall we? I believe we shall. Our goal is always make the playoffs and see what happens. That's always the goal in baseball. More than any other sport, crazy shit happens in the playoffs. Well, not more than any other sport. I mean, NHL is pretty bonkers. I got 500 career wins. Very nice, very nice. Tyler Soderstrom. How did he do with Cincinnati? He had a pretty okay season, but it wasn't that great. Like, for somebody to turn in 727 plate appearances and only hit for, like, this is somewhat concerning. So, we probably made the right call. We probably made the right call. Our shiny new closer's already got 7 saves in the first month of the season. Very nice. Very nice indeed. We're just going to plow right through to June. There's really no reason to stop at this point. We don't have enough data to make any informed decisions. Michael Perez is going to be out for 2 weeks. That's fine. Let's let him recover and call up probably Tebow. I think that's the best choice there. This division is going to be tough. I mean, it's always been fairly tough, but it's especially tough now. Okay, he's going to need even more time. Shane McClanahan wants to come back. Don't be fucking absurd. I can't think of anything I'd like to do less than give you that giant contract. Signing him was a mistake. I'm not happy to admit it, but I will admit it, that it was a mistake. Mr. Tebow, you can go right back to the minors, because Michael Perez is a bit more established, and I want him to get a chance to pitch quite effectively. Okay. 6 weeks for Mikey Romero. That's really interesting. So I have an immediate replacement in Max Muncy. I have no qualms about letting Max Muncy play second base while Romero's out. Is it time to call up Jacob Kendall? Where is Jacob Kendall? He is in AAA. Okay. That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. He could be so good, but I still feel a reluctance to rush him. I want him to be a long-term solution, either second or short. And so I think, since he just got drafted last year, another month or two would still do him well. So let's look about Everett Johnson instead. I think he's a fine choice. So let's put him on the 40-man and promote him. What'll probably end up happening, I don't know who is actually playing second base. It'll probably be Muncy, but I don't know. Yeah, it is Muncy. That makes sense. Max Muncy is probably the best second baseman that's still healthy on the roster. Let us proceed to the end of the month. And then we can have a little chit-chat about how things look. We have Confidant back, which is amazing. Is Burleson crushing it? He kind of is right now. I'm not saying he is flawless or anything like that, but I don't wanna jinx it. What about Campos? Campos is struggling, so I think sending Campos back to the minors is worthwhile, and then we can have Confidant return. Oh, you do need to be on the 38-man roster, don't you? Who sucks? Eugenio Herrera is pretty suck, so we can designate him for assignment. There we go. There we go. Nice. And then let's quickly let you do your thing here. So interestingly enough, your answer is don't play Confidant at all. And play Ariel Almonte in left instead. That's kind of weird, actually. I'm not saying it's wrong. Oh, looks like you are using him quite frequently, right? But I guess Burleson has pride of place right now. That's fine. We'll see how their job share goes as the season progresses. And let's go to the end of May, and then we can have a look at our team and figure out what's going well and what isn't going so well. I did not know that. Thank you. We are seeing some people get better, which is lovely. Which is absolutely beautiful. Mike Swanson is throwing harder. You love to see that. Very, very good. Okay. I want to take a look at the pitcher. Where do you go? Is he hurt already? Yeah, he is. It's a sprained ankle. Maybe that'll give him a chance to rest up. So what are we looking at? How is this team actually doing? Max Clark is struggling really badly. He is still getting on base, so he's still valuable, but this isn't the Max Clark that's wanting lots and lots of money. We need to see him improve, and improve in the fairly near future if we're going to keep him around. I have no doubts that he can. He's usually been right around league average with the potential to maybe play a little bit better. And just because he hasn't met that yet this season doesn't mean that he won't. If we take a peek at his BABIP, it's below his career average by about 30 points. So he should figure that part out. Peyton Green looks really solid. Tommy White is okay. Burleson is great. Muncy is wonderful. Almonte hasn't played that much, so I can't really judge him yet. Armando Cruz is certainly not anything special. And Alex Watson at least is getting on base. He only has to play at roughly league average to be a very useful catcher. If he can't accomplish that, though, then we may have some words. Pitching looks fairly good. Joe Musgrove might be washed. He hasn't pitching at a very high level. He's not, like, terrible, but he could definitely be a bit better. Same thing with Griff McGarry. We're still not scoring runs consistently. So the offense clearly still needs some work. It's just not clear what we need. This may solve itself once Almonte gets out of this slump. I may need to get rid of Almonte to convince the game to actually fucking play him. But as of this moment, the lineup isn't really getting it done. And while I have tons and tons and tons of good pitching prospects now, I don't have much in the way of offensive prospects. Except for Kendall. And since we have a pretty shitty shortstop, maybe that's our cue to bump Cruz. But I do want Kendall to have at least one more month in the minors. So if he's still like this in July, I think we'll swap him out for Kendall. Tommy White is probably somebody we need to replace too. In 212 plate appearances, he's only producing at a fairly low level. We need somebody to be a premium offensive threat if they're going to be hitting cleanup, and right now he isn't that. I don't think there's anybody in the minors, though, that qualifies, unfortunately. Joshua buys his home runs and nothing else. Cam Caminiti might be okay, I guess. Most of my high caliber offensive prospects are all fairly deep in the minors, which means we're not going to be seeing them anytime soon. So the question is, who could we find potentially to play first base for us? Brady House, maybe? Play House at third and Green at first, maybe? Play Joe Mack at first? I've heard of worse ideas. But Tommy Watt is clearly not getting it done. I'm hella tempted to try Joe Mack, who at least offers elite power and plate discipline. Even if he's not as good at drawing walk or hitting for average, I don't think that's an issue. I think this is a decent short-term solution. It's letting Joe Mack figure something out. So let's reset this. So Confidant goes back into the lineup. Almonte plays left, and Neely plays first, and Burleson DHs. I'm fine with that. I think Confidant is a significantly better player than Tommy White. The next move is, what do we do with Tommy White? Do we keep him around or do we trade him? What if we did trade him? What might we get? Nice try, Elena. I'm not paying like shit tons of money for somebody who's not terrible. That's a bad investment. Tanner Talk. I could live with this. I think he's got an intriguing offensive portfolio. He's a little bit more well-rounded. He's also, like, here's the thing. If Tommy White reaches full potential, he'd be one of the better first basemen in the league. But so far, he's not doing that. There's something about him that's just a little bit off. I wouldn't mind getting an additional prospect if you'd be so kind. Somebody to help mitigate my risk a bit. How in the hell is he not on your main roster yet? What does this man have to do to get consideration? I will put him on the main roster right fucking now. I'll even throw in one of my current outfielders. Look for the Ariel Almonte. No, it doesn't even move the needle. Okay. That's fair. I guess I can't be too shocked that he's not willing to give them up. Myrie's actually a really solid choice. Wonder if they give him up. Let's submit this offer and see if they'll take it. Excuse me. You want Sergio Collado? Done. Tanner, you are going to be placed on the 38-man roster, but I'm not going to put you in the big leagues. And you can be demoted. Didn't you used to be one of my dudes, Mr. Verdugo, maybe? No? Yes. And then I turned him into Kyle, right? Dean West and Kyson Witherspoon. Okay. I don't mind Dean West at all. He's doesn't have elite offensive skills, but he is pretty solid. He's got good on base skills. He's pretty fast. Handles himself up, but he's also kind of dumb. Kyson Witherspoon isn't that exciting. I'm not giving Arturo Mondesir up for that. That's silly. So no thank you. Wonder if I could get a decent prospect for JT Ginn. Because right now he's just clogging up space on my roster. I wonder what manner of prospect I might be able to get for him. Really? Nobody? Okay. Okay. Alright, important question. Do I want Mikey Romero back? I don't think I do. I think Mikey Romero's time has come and gone. And I think we're better off with Max Muncy playing second base than we ever were with Mikey Romero. So I'm going to turn around and flip you for a prospect, if I can. If I'm permitted to do so. I like hitters like Gaddison a lot. You know how I am about my gap hitters. They tend to do well in the majors. He's a real possibility. Yeah, let's grab Gaddison. And then Mr. Gaddison, I'm going to put you on the 38-man roster. Almonte still isn't hitting. I'm going to demote him and promote Gaddison. I think Gaddison has a little bit better of a chance to be a little more complete. Okay. Oh, to look at the player development. Let's take a look at this stuff here. Painter getting worse is not my favorite thing ever. I mean, Ishmael Ibarra is getting better. That's certain. Juan Bernal is getting better. That's nice. It's very nice. He's getting his brains hammered in. Like, he is not pitching well. Doesn't handle losing well. I am taking over. If he's grumpy, then we will put him in short A. Let him improve a little bit. I could probably trade Joe Musgrove and get a reasonable prospect in return. And then we could promote Braden Egan and see what he can give us over the course of the season. I think that actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. Let's try it. See if I can't grab an interesting prospect or so. Can I get a package, actually? Kevin Lane is a legit possible stud at third base. Ben Mack doesn't really move the needle, but... I don't really want anybody that's on a Major League roster already. Axiel Plaus is a fine catcher. I actually think I really like this first offer, though. Like, Kevin Lane could legit be a star at third base. And that's always a handy thing to have, so I think this is the best trade. Let's make this deal. And then let's call up Braden Egan to take the rotation spot. And see what he can handle in the big leagues. I did say I'd give Jacob Kendall one more month in the minors, and he is destroying minor league pitching. I don't see any point in keeping him in the majors one moment longer. Plus, nobody likes Anthony Miller anyway. I wonder if I could trade him for a prospect of some flavor. Probably not a very good one, but you never know. I've already got guys like that. I'll just send him to the minors. And Jacob Kendall is called up. No, you know what? I'm not going to send to the minors. Because if we want the benefit of getting rid of Miller, then we have to get him off the roster entirely. We're getting more choices. Grab Jose Guerra. Okay. So some big changes already in July with 2 new players getting some attention. It's not changing too much. Looks like Kendall is going to be coming off the bench, at least in the short term. But I'm okay with that. I don't mind that at all. What I do mind is Max Clark sucking. Maybe this just is who he is. Maybe we need to come to grips with the fact that he's never going to be an outstanding player. He's fine. But he's also not... I don't know what his deal is. To be perfectly blunt with you, I have no clue what his deal is. He seems very consistently to be a 2-win player and nothing more. And that feels disappointing to me. He strikes me as a guy who can definitely contend for a batting title at some point, and he's just not doing it for whatever reason. I don't know, guys. I don't know if he is the answer, and if so, what is the question? Like, we have a lot of starters that are right around... Oh, God, Alec Burleson is terrible now. And he's playing so often, too. Burleson's gotta go. I need you off my roster because I cannot trust Mark Kotze not to play you. You're a really good player, but I don't have a need for you. So what I could is I could trade for you and then trade you. What if we try that? So Alec Burleson is gone. Then I immediately trade Feline here. Oh, I've used up all my shop players, so let's finish the day and then I can trade him. I will take a regular. I'm looking expressly for an outfielder. And if I can't find a really great one, then I will just open it up to all players and just try to get the best player I can. Brian Ramos is a really good player. I ain't paying for him now. Don't be absurd, game. Don't be absurd. I wouldn't even object to Luis Camposano, but I am not paying that much money for him. I don't know what kind of crack you think you're smoking, but it's not very good. We throw in veterans. I don't mind getting like a player on like a 1-year deal to help us get closer to the playoffs, maybe. If we can find that. Is Jackson Jobe a good pitcher? He is a good pitcher. I just don't want to pay that much money for him. That's basically continuing the issue with that. Tillo will look mighty nice as an upgrade to the bullpen, though, but so would Andrew Abbott. Maybe Abbott's the play here. Yeah, let's grab Abbott. I think he's a useful player, and he's not too expensive. Alright, so I need an outfielder. The question is, who is it? Could be Almonte. Could be Joshua Baez. But maybe not Joshua Baez. I guess the vibe between it being Baez is we get somebody that can also throw some relief innings every now and again. And there's value in that. But we're probably better off with Almonte. Yeah, let's grab Almonte. That's fine. And then who goes down for Abbott? Wait, you're not even starting Egan? Who the fuck are you starting? Paulino. No, game. No. Bad game. Paulino's a perfectly fine reliever, but I don't want him starting. Look at this guy, I guess. It's about getting him off the roster. That's what it is. I'm sorry the fans are bummed, but maybe you should fucking start the better pitcher then, and not some jerk off. Why will you not start Egan? No, I'm forcing you. Start him. Stop trying to make a fucking reliever into a starter. Ryan Cusick has been an incredible closer. He is not a starter. Let him be a closer. I'm going to force him to be the closer. Because you're being fucking stupid. Now, update everything again. And so then you start Abbott. Why will you not start Egan? What is it about Egan that has you convinced he can't start? I'm willing to give Abbott a chance as a starter at least. That's not what I brought him in for, but I guess we can try it. But I don't get it. I don't get what it is about him that you're like, nope, he can't start. Like you're being weird, but whatever. Okay. Some quick shuffling. Armando Cruz is really bad. Do I force you to start Jacob Kendall as a shortstop? Because Armando Cruz is providing no offense. And it's not like he's that much... I guess he is a pretty good shortstop. Is he actually playing at a fairly high level? He is... Maybe. Maybe Alex Watson is the problem. I don't know. You're such a weird player. You're a very weird player. And I think if you weren't a catcher, I don't think you would even be on a major league roster. But you're really good at handling a pitching staff. And maybe that's enough. But it's hard to ignore the fact that we're getting no production from 8 and 9 in our lineup. Max Clark is getting better, I guess, but he's still not great. We still don't have a very good offense. We're still at or near the bottom of the American League. We're getting better, I guess, but our park will always suppress home runs. It's always going to make it hard for us to be a top-tier offense. It is what it is for right now, and I'm willing to just let it go and see what happens. Thank God for Mike Neely, though. He's been a really helpful on-base piece. Peyton Green has been really good. Really, really good. Alright, let us let things take a course and then see where that gets us. Johan for Santana. I don't think so. Like, this is like a complete nothing of a trade. The only reason I would make it is hoping that we can unlock some secret level of offense in him. Because if he could ever hit, he'd be a pretty decent outfielder. Or if we can... He is a pretty big dude. He should be able to throw harder. I think we will make this trade. Because JT Ginn doesn't do anything for me. So there we go. Make that trade. Keep it coming. Okay, let's talk about some coaches. Let's talk about some coaches. Javier Goddard is fine. And I think our coaching staff is really positive, so I don't really want to change our dynamic here. Team trainer has been doing a pretty good job. I think we can keep him around for a while longer. I think that's fine. And you. You're an amazing pitching coach. I am not letting you get away. Done. I've got to be honest with you. Mark Kotze's weird fucking bullshit is getting to the point where I'm probably going to end up letting him go. Like, if we don't make the playoffs this season and we don't get relatively deep into the playoffs, we might need to get rid of him. Like, for all he's accomplished, and it's not negligible, he just makes weird-ass decisions, and I can't keep having to override that. Also, he does terribly with our pitchers. I would like our pitchers to feel a little bit more, loved. Okay, first year draft, love it. We dropped a spot. We have a top 11 pick though, so we can maybe get somebody of high quality there. Alright, I don't care how fucking good the pitchers look in this draft. I cannot take any. It must be offense. We have to fix the offense. We need an elite offensive talent, and I don't care what it takes. Alright. So the first person I'm immediately drawn to is Mike Howman. Because Mr. Howman... Well, let's actually sort by overall. That's actually a really good idea. Okay. Mike Howman seems like a perfect player. He's far away from reaching his potential, but not that far. Plus, he's from California. I think he is the perfect choice. I think Mr. Howman is exactly what we're looking for, and he's in. He's an Oakland A. He will be forever. Done. Now we can take a look at some of these other players here. Luis Vaca is a really good player who's also high on leader. Also from California. Let's select him. Alright, now I think taking a picture does seem reasonable, unless Darren McGinnis is just fantastic. He is really good. He is really good. Yeah, we can take Darren McGinnis as a treat. Alright, now we look at pitching. And we start with Jorge Escobar. Good velocity, a nice mix of pitches. This is probably as hard as he'll ever throw, and his movement isn't the best, but in a park like Oakland's, that's not as big a deal. So I think Mr. Escobar here is a worthy addition to the roster. I wouldn't mind getting a young catcher, but let's see what else is available here. Dusty Capes. Pretty solid, nothing fantastic, but solid. Very adaptable, that's good news. I think we'll get Wyatt Eager. He's, first of all, a very eager pitcher. But even though he doesn't have a breaking pitch, he's a lefty. And I love his character. And I think he's got a higher chance of developing. So I think Mr. Eager will be a fine addition to our club. Maybe? I don't know how much money he's going to want, but we can try it at least. Dusty Capes keeps falling. At this point, there's no downside to drafting him. Joey Caligari is a pretty decent catcher with a bit of pop in his bat. And that's always going to play well for me. I think that's probably it. I don't think there's anybody else here I feel to... I mean, I guess we could look at, like, the batting potential. Find big hitters. Oh, Varro Ramos isn't bad. It cost me nothing, so there's no downside to taking him. Maybe CJ Baldy, too. Sure. Let's look at some pitching... Let's go for Bobby McIntyre. And then I will auto-draft the rest of the draft. Good. I am hopeful that Howman can make his way through college, through the minors very quickly. Because if he can get through the minors quickly, he could see major time. I mean that both figuratively and literally. Before even the end of this season, but probably next season. But he's already fairly polished, so I can trust my talented development staff to get the most out of him. I do think taking Eager makes sense. You want to get paid $11 million. That's a lot of fucking money. There's a lot to like about you. You are a really smart guy. Yeah, I think I will. We'll try it. I'll offer you $12 million. Might just tell me to get fucked, but if you do, you do. I'm not too fussed by that. I thought Jaco would tell me to go to hell, but I guess not. So who makes the All-Star team from Oakland? Paul Skeens does. Ramiro Llano does. And literally no Oakland hitters. 2 pitchers. That's it. That's fine. That's fine. Right. Let's go up to the trading deadline and then maybe make some more trades. I don't want Shane Boz. Nothing about Shane Boz interests me. Yeah, Shane, my guy. I'm not. I'm just not. You know, if I had $39 million to spend, I wouldn't spend it on you again. I've learned that lesson. Possibly. Interesting. I mean, there's a lot to love about Rusty Ramirez. I just don't see Chicago giving him up. Like, you're going to tell me just to go to hell, right? Yeah, there's no player I can offer you that will make you want to do that, so... Whatever. Honk. It is a trade deadline. Let's get it going. Is there an interesting bat on offer? Nick Gonzalez is Max Muncy. I've already got Max Muncy. I don't feel the need to have a second one. I get where the problem is that offense is down around the league, or that people are just not willing to trade their offensive stars. Dalton Varsho isn't that great. I think he'd be a good fit for us in terms of clubhouse chemistry. But as like a player in his own right, I don't think he's that impressive. How is our chemistry? We're doing okay. It could be better, but it's pretty good. So trading someone just for the chemistry doesn't make sense. Twommy Edman. Cronenworth, maybe. Alright, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to do something I probably should have done a while ago. We're going to trade Alex Watson. I know he's great with the pitching staff. I get that. But he just can't hit. And in a lineup that already has enough problems with offense, I can't essentially punt on offense. I can't do that. So we're going to trade him. And see what might be offered to us in exchange. Indie Pages isn't that good. Only if you ate a big cheap piece of his contract, I think would I consider that move. I could trade for Anthony Siegler, who's even worse than Watson. That seems like an amazing choice. I think my better choice is to find a player I actually want and then offer Watson and see if that gets... Bo Naylor is pretty good, but not the amount of money he's earning good. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna... I would make this deal if Atlanta eats a substantial portion of his contract. I think that gives both a better offensive catcher and still a good defensive catcher. Damn it, game. Alright, here's the deal, yo. Y'all are gonna eat a lot of his contract. Oh. They'll take all of it? But not his extension. I think this has burned us before. Because he's only saying $14 million, which is only this season. So no, I am not doing this trade. I guess we should trade him again. I suppose. Yeah, I'll go for it. I can always trade him later if it turns out that he's not a good fit. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. It's charging his full salary against us. It's fine. Naylor should be a good enough player to earn that salary. At least that's what I'm hoping. So that's one problem solved. I think I've got to get rid of Armando Cruz. You're just the kind of guy that they will play forever and ever, and you can't hit and won't hit. So let's trade Armando Cruz for any interesting prospect, really, and then we can make an adjustment from there. Maybe Jacob Kendall play shortstop, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely not keeping him around. I wouldn't put you in the big leagues, but I don't dislike you either. I think you'd be a fine second baseman if I needed one. Yeah, this makes sense. Let's do it. Oh, I didn't want Torres. I wanted the shortstop. Maybe I can get both of them. What was that kid's name? I am DeCrute. Yeah, Roinier Hernandez. Let's get them both. There we go. And then in the interim, we need a new middle infielder. It might as well be Yohander Linares, I suppose. And now Kendall's playing at shortstop, which is exactly what I wanted. I think it's going to make us a significantly better club. We've basically taken two way below average millstones and replaced them for fairly competent players. I think both Bo Naylor and... why is Naylor backing up instead of catching? I mean, I guess if that's what we want to do, that's fine. But, yeah. We shall see how this season progresses. Okay. We can just end the trade deadline. No, I do want to see real quick if there's anybody else whose salary is... Like, I could trade Shane McClanahan, right? Like, that is a possibility. I just don't know who would offer anything for him. But maybe he does want to play for a contender. See if I can get something for him. Maybe a package of prospects, potentially. Like, the benefit of trading Shane McClanahan is the fact that otherwise I could get nothing for him because I don't think he's eligible for a qualifying offer. Oh, if I offered him a qualifying offer, which would actually be a pay cut for him, I think I could still get a draft pick out of him. I guess the question is, do we think this package of prospects is worth McClanahan? Oh, and they're wanting money. I don't think so. I think we'll just let him play out the string with us. Skip to next sim, and I think I'm done. There we go. Finish today. Okay, what do we have here? Some improvement. Not loads, but some. How's Ibarra doing? Is he performing better now that he's in high A? Not really. Not at all. Let's immediately get him into rookie ball. He's 16 years old. I don't really think that he needs to be too high up in the majors, and I don't want to wreck his confidence entirely. Alright, roster expansion time it is. Cowabunga it is then. I am not ready to put Mike Swanson in the major leagues. I think he's still a ways away. Jonathan Lowe seems like a much better choice. You will still not fucking start Braden Egan. Why? Why do you hate him so much? No, you know what? Fuck you, Marcotte. Start him. I am done with you and your nonsense and your refusal to start perfectly valid starting pitchers. I think he should be the ace, but I do think that he should be started. And I think that makes a better team for us overall than whatever silly bullshit you're trying to pull, Katse. Okay, Andrew Painter can come back. I'm going to go ahead and have him rehab. Because I want Egan's to get a proper chance at starting before I make any changes to anything. Because it's not very likely that we're going to... We might make the playoffs. I shouldn't say that. We might make the playoffs. But it does seem somewhat unlikely that we are guaranteed to make the playoffs. I don't think I believe that part. Damn, Luis Vaca is really improving quite nicely. Yeah, Ibarra's already losing some of his talent level. You all tried to warn me, and I didn't listen. No. I can't all be winners. Who is that one guy I just drafted that I thought had potential to help us very soon? It wasn't Campos, that's for damn sure. Howman, that's the guy's name. Nice. We're getting better. We are scoring runs every now and again. Not very often, but we're doing it. If we could put together like a little mini run here, I think we could make the playoffs. And then who knows what could happen. Okay. That is more than okie dokie. Let us activate him. And then let's let you set up the rotation the way you'd like. There we go. I know your contract is running out. I can't fucking afford that. So stop being stupid. Okay? Just don't be stupid anymore, please. Game. I beg you, don't be stupid. I will put Campos and I think Baez on the roster. Let them get some offensive at-bats here. Tanner talk. We can see how he is, and that'll be fine. We can let things go as they need to go. Okay, some nice improvements here. Lovely. Jacob Kendall's defense is getting better, and that's going to be a critical part of his staying power. Like, look, Jacob Kendall, who plays third base or second base, isn't the end of the world. Jacob Kendall, who plays shortstop, is a potential all-star. That, I think, is the difference. Even though Jacob Kendall's defense is merely average, I think it's worthwhile letting him be that guy. Plus, he's a prankster. Who doesn't love a prankster? Are we going to make the playoffs? It is possible. We're in the driver's seat for a wild card. It's just going to be a question of, can we achieve it? We could win some games, that would probably help. I'm just saying. Losing 11-0 is not going to help us make the playoffs. I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the story. If I win, we're in. If we lose, we're tied with the Angels, which means we go to a one-game playoff, I think. I think that's how that works. So I guess you better win. And we didn't. Oh, I wonder if LA lost. They did. They did. Wow. 81-81. We are... Woo! Amazing. Yeah. Amazing's not the word I know that I would use either. How are you leaving Ryan Cusick off the fucking roster? Why do you do this shit, game? Leave Jonathan Lowe off the playoff roster, but don't take my closer away, who's been the best pitcher we've had in relief. This is an exceptional season. Stop trying to find ways to take him off the damn roster. I don't need a third catcher. That much is true. Yes, the rest of this seems fine to me. Alright, here we go, guys. We made the playoffs. It's all going to come down to if we can... If our terrible pitching if our amazing pitching will hold up long enough for our offense to maybe score a run or two. Well, that's a good start. There we go. Hey, we advanced in the playoffs for the first time. That's pretty sweet. I don't hate that. That's October 17th. Okay. We're facing Seattle. Okay. Well, we lost a low-scoring game. The low-scoring part isn't that wild. A nice little bounce back there. Great. How injured are you both? And you're both day-to-day. Suck it up, it's a playoffs, y'all. Very nice. Confidant has himself a game. And there we go, friends. The ALCS for, I think, the first time. I don't think we've actually made the ALCS before. No, we haven't. So this is already one of the most successful teams we've had. Which is tremendous news. Let's quickly take a moment out of our busy schedules to get some international free agents. Scooted. Everybody in blue, obviously, without any hesitation. That feels like 10 players done. And then we're gonna scooch on over to here, and we're going to run the practice. There we go. Play until next playoff round. A glorious victory for the Oakland A's. Egan pitched all right. He's still getting pulled out a little bit too quickly, but that's okay, I suppose. A second victory in a row. That's 3. Paul Skeens having himself a lovely outing. That's perfect. Okay, no sweep for us. That's okay. It's okay. Boom! The World Series. Holy shit, guys. I mean, if you had told me at the beginning of this season you're going to make the World Series this year, I would not have believed you. Because our offense is still not that great, but I guess we're just peaking at the right time. Okay, Max Clark is out for 6 weeks. So let's quickly put him on the IL so we can find a replacement. Let us call up your mother. Wait, no. Don't call up his mother. Carrillo can play center. I wonder if it will let me put him on the postseason roster. I could just have Pedro Pineda and let somebody else play center, but... Some part of my organization. Okay. Then I guess I will go ahead and put Carrillo on the 38-man roster. And then I will add him to the thing if we can. Where is Carrillo? Here he is. There we go. Good start. Oh, it's a Bay Area series. I just not realized that. Very cool. Very, very cool. Let us real quick, go ahead and run the next international scouting practice. Oof. Tough outing. Egan actually pitched fairly well. He certainly didn't pitch poorly. He just didn't pitch quite well enough. Wasted a good performance, for sure. Also, I know this is part of the issue is forcing him to be a starter. It makes the game starts him at weird times. But Skeens locked it down. We're up 2-1. 3-1. 3 games to 1. Holy smokes, guys. We did it. We 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 won the World Series. What? But we had the worst offense in the American League. But hell, I guess that's why they say anything can happen in the playoffs. Wow. We get a 2-year extension. I don't know why turning an 81 team into a World Series wasn't good enough, but okay. Wow. I am. Is this trade any good? No, I'm not giving you. No, you're not a good enough player. Neither is Torres. I would do this trade just for Mondesir, but I'm not doing it for Confidant. That's where I'm drawing the line. You want a Gira? You can have a Gira. This is a much better trade for us, I think. Okay. So let's talk about how the season went. Besides winning the World Series, which is just wild to me. So we had 3 3-win players, which is excellent news. And Peyton Green, Davin Gaddison, and Max Muncy. Peyton Green just keeps getting it done. And I wish he weren't our only star, but you have to get offense from somewhere, and he has been consistently one of the best hitters on the team. I don't know how he hasn't been an all-star yet, but I'm sure he will get consideration in the very near future. Gaddison was phenomenal. Most of this did come from his time with LA. He wasn't quite as good for us, but I still think he's earned himself an opportunity to play regularly. Max Muncy, he just needs to be left alone. I think a Max Muncy that gets all the playing time is going to continue to be a tremendous player. Mike Neely definitely provided plenty of offense. I wish he provided a bit more. But this is fun. This is what I was hoping for. Somebody to get on base and be disruptive. And that's exactly what he's been doing. Bo Naylor wasn't an A for very long, but so far he's already proven to be superior to our previous catcher. Jacob Kendall had, after just murdering minor league pitching, he's not fully major league ready yet, but there's a lot to like here. There's a lot to like. Yeah. Probably still need to make some trades, for sure, to get us to the best possible version of ourselves, but I think it was pretty good. This shit was bonkers. Shane McClanahan turning in a truly special performance in his final season with the A's. Ishmael Mota, who we got for peanuts, turned out to be a really solid starting pitcher. Paul Skeens continued to be amazing. And there's still another level for him to unlock. He's already been very, very good, but he could be outstanding. We got great work out of the bullpen. Andrew Painter turned in a pretty good season. It was great. We had a fantastic pitching staff and an offense that did get better toward the end of the season. It did get better. So, what do we need? We need, as I've been saying a billion times, I'll probably say a billion times more. First of all, we need to get some salary back by making some arbitration offers. We'll do that next episode. But for now, I'm just going to kind of bask in it. Like, this was a truly crazy postseason. And, yeah, I'm here for it, guys. I'm absolutely here for it. Until next time, my friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you